Okay, apparently I'm live. I hope everything's working properly. Haven't done this in a while. So, anyway, today I am going to continue, or should I more accurate to say restart, going through my stock universe looking for opportunities to trade. Now, when I talk about my stock universe, what I actually mean is sort of like this. I have three tables here, one in red, one in yellow, and one in green. These were originally one big long list, and I've just gone through it and sorted them out into general categories. Red is stocks that are generally trending down. Yellow are stocks that are generally trending sideways, and green are stocks that are generally trending upwards. I drew this universe. It's about 350 stocks or so. Anyway, I drew it a week or two ago, so it's sort of out of date. Some of the stocks that may have been trending upwards may now well be trending downwards, in which case I'll move them from the green to the red, and so on and so forth. Quick disclaimer before I start: I am not a financial advisor, and I'm especially not your financial advisor. Trading carries significant risk of loss. Do it at your own risk. My suggestion: get yourself a good education. That's number one. And the education will give you a few simple rules. Follow those rules. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into that. So, trade at your own risk. That's the bottom line. So, all I'm going to do is bring that chart to the front. As I click on stocks in any of these three tables, the chart, well, all the charts, including this one, will populate with data from that symbol. And, oh, excuse me. So, I'm going to move that out of the way. And as I click down, you'll see stocks on these black charts. They will repopulate with data periodically. Alright, first one, ACVA. That's still definitely trending downwards, so that's of zero interest to me. This one, AEO. I should have had a look at this in the middle of October, because it's pulled back to this trend line here, which is basically the trend line shows you the direction of the troughs of all of these bars. And if I'd got in about over here, I would have made a little bit of money, but I didn't, so tough luck. This looks interesting. If I could wait for a pullback, assuming it will carry on this trend and not. See, the great thing about this is that since the middle of July, it has never gone below this trend line. That's why the trend line is handy, in my opinion. The trend line that I've drawn on this chart, the chart doesn't do it for me. So assuming that this trend continues, this could pull back to around about the blue line, the trend line. Then I should buy it and assume it's going to continue upwards. However, if you look, this is at the daily time frame. Each bar represents 1 day. However, if you look at the weekly, you can see that there's another trend, this one down here. And since the beginning of 2024, the stock has never broken this trend line. And you can see it maybe more clearly on the monthly chart where each bar represents a month. Since early 2021, it has never broken this trend line. And if you look over here, where we are now, we're about to hit that trend line. So this, I don't expect the stock to break through the trend line now. There's no reason for me to believe that. And so you could say, well, yeah, it's probably going to move up. Back here, closer to July, it wasn't near this trend line here. So I'm not interested in this stock. It could break through, but I don't expect it to. I'm looking for stocks that I can say, yeah, I expect it to move up based on what I see on the charts. So next one, AESI. Trending sort of downwards, but I'm not so confident that I don't see any sign that this is suddenly going to go up. Yes, I know you can short stocks. That's where you make money when the stock goes down. But I'm only going to go long on a trade, which means I'm going to take trades on the basis that they are going to move upwards. I see no sign that this is going to move upwards. It could, but I don't expect it. So I'm going to skip that one. AISP. See, this kept to the trend line until it didn't. So yeah, this is pulled back a little bit further than here, this area of support. See, in the past, but it's still in this area of support because support is not a fixed point. It's an area on the chart. So I don't know what to expect this one to do. But if I don't know what to expect, then I'm not interested. It could go back up, or it could carry on going down. There's nothing just to tell me what to expect. So next, AMPL. This was on a downtrend, still is in a downtrend. This did sort of try to move up, bumped into this red line. This represents the 200 moving average. I'm not that big into indicators and things. I use a trend line, I use the 200, I use the 50, which is this purple one, and the blue one is a 21. And on charts with a time frame of less than 1 hour, I lose the 200, and instead I have this yellow one, which is the 10, if I remember correctly. So that's what these lines are, and that's it. This yellow line here is the 10-day moving volume average. So anyway, this one tried to go up. It's bumping into this 200. This is the most significant moving average. It's the 200. It's almost like an area of support or resistance. Many stocks have a problem getting through. Many of them just bounce off, go back the way they came. So I'm not expecting it to break through. So we move on to the next stock. This one was trending down, and it broke the trend. It broke the moving average, which is the 21 moving average, I think. But it's sort of stalled. Could hang around here for a while. It did so back in April. Hung around in this area for a while. In April, though, it did move up. Eventually, moving from about $20 to $23, but that took months. So that's not particularly exciting for me. Better than nothing, but I'll take better if I can get it. So, and also, if you look at the weekly, you see the 200 here. We're right at it, which possibly could explain why we're sort of stuck here. So, next. This is plain downtrend. Nothing to see here. Next. That too, although it's looks like it's a very new stock on the stock exchange. Not much history to look at. So, next. If I can't see what it's done, I cannot use that to see what it might do. So, yeah, next. Now, this was interesting. AVPT. It was sort of bouncing up and down in between these two horizontal lines, which are also put on the chart by me. But now it's dropped below. Could come back up like it did earlier in the year. So I'm going to put this on. This is, yeah, it's sort of trending down, but also I have a special page here. I'm going to add it to this list. This list is for all the stocks that I find that are sort of bouncing between two price points. AVPT. There we go. Because if it carries on doing that, if it has a history of doing that, well, since a year ago actually, it bounced quite happily between these two points. Well, not 2 points, these two areas. So if it comes back up again and comes back up to the, what is that, $14 mark, if it comes back up to there, I'm going to be interested. So that's if. Anyway, so it's on my list of stocks to pay particular attention to. So, next. BEN. This was trending down, but it has bumped into the 200. This is going to be a recurring theme. This stocks bumping into the 200, either on their way up or on their way down. And yeah, no, stay away. Stay away. Even on the 60, you can see it's right there. There's the 200, comes in here, and we are at exactly the same point. No. Next. This, not enough history to make any predictions. So, next. Trending downwards. There's no sign that this is going to reverse anytime soon. So, next. Again, it is, you could say it is at support. At an area of support. In fact, I'm going to draw another line over here. And just while I'm here, just change this color to what it should be. There. So this is at support. Now it could hover here for a little while, but it hasn't got much room until it hits. It hasn't got much room to go up until it hits this 200 again. Yeah, it's got less than $1, so I'm not super excited about it. I think for the time being, going to leave this one. Okay, what I'm busy doing. This is also a daily. Sorry, this is also a daily chart. It's just missing volume, just so I can get a good overview. So I'm going to just draw that. There we go, and move this back onto my other monitor. Oh yes, what I can do is add this to at support. It's not already there. No. So COUR at support. I'm interested in it because it could bounce. And by bounce, I mean it could go down to here. It hit the $6 mark and it bounced back up again. So there's a chance it could do that. So I'll keep it on that list. Next. I don't like stocks that do this. You can see on the weekly here since the beginning of 24, actually before 24, nothing happened. All of a sudden there was some activity in the first half of 24, and then interest died off, and now there was another big flurry of activity. No, I'm not really interested in this. There's no way to predict when it's suddenly going to take off. If you're in it when it does that, you're very lucky, and that's it. Next, a downtrend. Nothing to see there. Another interesting stock. This is CWH. So it was trending down. Let's just see. But now it's in the same area as back in April. Last time it was in this area, it bounced. So this is going to go onto my at support. CWH. And next. CZR. Trending down. Yeah, see, I think a lot of people hope that it might bounce because of this, because of what happened back in April. Last time it was in this area, it bounced back up, but it's clearly dropped below this. So, nah, I'm not interested. And this trending down, but so volatile. No, I don't see anything here. It could possibly bounce, but the stock is so new. It's not even a year old. Nah, that's not for me. Now this is interesting. Yeah, this is something that looks interesting. Let's make that a bit bigger. So it was trending down, but now it's trending sideways and bouncing between what is it, 2050 and 2570 or so, thereabouts. There's about $2. Okay, it hasn't hit the bottom here. If I was to take this, assuming it goes back up, my stop loss would have to be way down here. That's at 22.26. I'd need a 70-cent stop loss minimum, because even if it doesn't break below this trend line, it still could go and bounce off of it, and that's 70 cents away. Why is that significant? Well, as a beginner trader, I'm risking a maximum of $10 per trade. What does that mean? So I have a stop loss of 70 cents. How many shares can I buy without going at 70 cents each? A 70-cent stop loss each. How many of them could I buy without going over my $10 loss rule? So we take 10 divided by 0.7. I can buy 14 shares. 1-4. Can buy 14 shares at this current price, 22.29, I think it is. 14 shares with a 70-cent stop loss. And if it goes below here, my stop loss will kick me out of the trade. I lose $10. I'm not going to because I'm not confident that this is going to go back up. It looks like it should, but I need more confirmation. So I would be more tempted. Well, actually, not really. This is a difficult one. Last time it was in this area was over here. And the last time it was in this area, it did bounce up. But last time it was in this area, it had not yet broken this downward trend line. It had not broken through these two moving averages. The fact that it did afterwards, that's a sign of strength. The stock broke the trend line. It broke these two moving average. That's a good sign. Coming from a double bottom, that's a good sign. But then, how much room do you have to where you would expect it to stop going up, which is this area here, because last time it stopped over here, it stopped over here, it even had problems over here. Combined with the stop loss that you would have to put in, that looks about $1. So you can buy 10 shares to make maybe 10. Those are not good enough odds for me. My aim is to risk 10 and make 20, 25, 30. If I get to 30, I'm good. I'm out. Even if the stock goes higher, I might look for another pattern and get back in, but I'm going to cash out the chips while I got them. So I'm going to put this on my list of what I call bouncing stocks, and this is DOW, which sounds like it's an ETF based on the Dow Jones. I'm going to guess. I have no idea. Don't really care. I need to general sort on symbol. There we go. Okay, next. Could be interesting. It's broken the trend line. It's got a double bottom, but it doesn't know what it wants to do. Let's have a look at the higher time frame. Now on the higher time frames it looks okay, but there's no sign to me that it's likely to move up. It's just not going down anymore. That's not quite good enough. I don't trade on maybes and possibilities. I want something a bit more. So this will go on my list of stocks that are at support, and I'll keep an eye on it. But as for actually getting into this, nah, not now. Next. Downward trend, but it's quite active. Even if a stock is trending downwards, you can still make money from it. For example, if you got in over here, and you got out over here on a long trade, you would have made $3. $2, sorry, it's $24.94. As it stands though, it's struggling with the 200, first of all. Second of all, it's struggling with the trend line. And it hasn't told me that it's thinking of going up, so no. And this doesn't even get onto the banding page. Need to explain that probably. Stocks like this, They're in a narrow band. So for me, just myself, I call it banding. And yeah, it sort of is, but nah. Nah, I'm sure there are better out there. And this really can't get above this level over here. It's 2250. Really can't. Even if you look at the weekly, still can't. All the way back from the middle of 2024, never broke above that. Now it's down here, but it looks to me like it has crashed into the 200 moving average and also on the 60. So yeah, no, it can deal with that. I'll have a look later and see how it's doing, but I don't need to have a look at it now. Okay. What have we here? We have a long, slow decline. Look in the weekly or the yearly. But if we have a look on the daily, it broke above all the moving average back here. But it didn't do anything really. Now it's at 740 or so. Could go back up to 10, which is like $2.50. But I don't see any sign that it's going to do that. Nah. Okay. This is. I don't know. Sometimes when you look at a chart, the answer is like right there, crystal clear. You don't have to think. But then there's charts like this where it doesn't jump out at me immediately. I don't think I'm interested in this. Doesn't have very much space to go. It's at 22. When it gets to 23, it's done. There's $1. No. No, 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 no. I don't need it. That's going straight down. FSK. Broken the trend line. Don't like that it tried to get out here and failed. That is not a sign of strength. These stocks can go down for almost forever. Sometimes they reverse for a little bit. Although this one, the angle is so shallow, take you a month to make a couple of bucks. So yeah. And it still hasn't really broken out above 1550. So Nah, nah, that's not for me. Much the same with this. I don't see anything there that I need to really be interested in. Also, way close to the 200 moving average. And this, even on the 60, it's still within range. Nah, next. That's going down. GO, oh, that's really going down. Though, if you look a bit closer, it's getting into this area here. The last time it got here, okay, it did so like in one day, but it rose fairly rapidly after that. Bumped into the 200 and fell back again. It's coming into the same area. So, yeah, maybe I could call this at support. Well, it's not really at support, but I'm going to put it on that list anyway, just to see what it does. Okay, next. That doesn't look exciting at all. No, I'm not seeing any signs there that it's likely to go up. Maybe I'm wrong, in which case you can laugh at me in the comments, but nah, that's not for me. And this, HBAN, interesting. Let's put some lines on here. So I like to put trend lines on just to make things really stand out to me. So we have this, let me make that big again. We have this area here. It bounced off over here. It bounced over here. It struggled and then jumped right over the 200 here. There's a little bit of an issue here. It bumped its head here and there and there. So this area seems to me significant for this stock. But having bounced off this area now, it's now bumping its head into the 200. If it can get back, if it can get past that, yeah, maybe I'd be interested. So that is at 1590. It could go to 1750, 18 maybe. There's a couple of dollars. I don't need much. If I get a good entry with a small stop loss, I can buy more stocks without risking more than $10. And yeah, who knows? Alright, I'm going to put this onto my at support list. HBAN. And next. Now this one is banding. It's trending downwards, but it is banding. At the moment it's near the top, and it's getting too close to this 200. Actually, even the 100. Yeah, I'll put it on the list, but I'm not expecting anything. HTZ. Whoops. Okay, so I'll keep my eye on that. HUN. No, that's just going down. Nothing to see there. Okay, I don't need that trend line anymore. It's way out of date. Nor do I need that. And are there any? These ones I drew years ago. Well, ages. Don't need them. Whoops. Delete, delete, and delete. Oh, what do I think of this? Seems to me that this is a significant area. I don't know if it's because of the 200 moving average, or if this is just also a natural area of support and resistance. See, bumping heads into the 50 moving average over here. And it hasn't got enough room, I don't think. The highest it's gone this year is, call it $20. So I've got $1, maybe. No, that's not enough. Okay, this. Maybe interesting. It's struggling with the 50 MA, but it's broken the trend line. I can't say that it's in an uptrend yet. It's got an equal high as over here in the same area. What is it going to do if it does get through here and gives me a sign that it's going to move up? It does have a couple of dollars until it hits into the 200. That might be worth keeping an eye on. I'm going to put it on the list. So, KVUE. And KVYO. This is banding. Damn, if I'd looked at this last week, I could have got into this. This is a fairly decent setup here. Stock bumps into the trend line and fell off. Lots of volume. Fell back to a previous area of support and then bounced up, pulled back, and then shot up. This is one of the best places to buy a stock. One of the safest places. Yeah, I need to do this more often. So now it's coming back. This could be a small pullback before it goes on again, and I've still got, what was that, 30 to 30. I've still got about $3 until the trend line, but I got the 200 halfway in between. Alright, let me put that on the list of banding. KVYO. There See, this yellow line is a definite area of support. Bounced over here, bounced over here, bounced over here, broke through and came back up. Bounced into the 200 and fell back. Now it's at the same point that it was, when was that? Beginning of October. But it doesn't look the same. Whereas these are long bars indicating that there's big movements on these days. Here's very slow. Yes, interesting, but yeah, not really. Next. Same sort of thing, a little bit clearer. Big bars here. Clearly came down, it hit its lowest point and bounced straight back up. It's here much more gentle and a lot of doing nothing at the bottom. So yeah, next. Downtrend. No. No, there's not enough room to do anything. Next. This is interesting. Stock trended up, consolidated, and then pushed back up again. Well above the 200. It's above the 50. And it broke through the trend line. Only problem is, this is the fourth day. There's a little tiny bar here. If I make it bigger, you probably can't see it. So at 1, 2, 3 days up, it's in the area where it failed before. What I would like to see this do, oops, what am I doing? It's there. What I would like to see this do is to pull back to this trend line and then bounce again. That would be a demonstration of strength, and that will give me a lot more confidence. So I am going to put this bouncing LYFT. Yeah, I would like to keep an eye on that in the next couple of days. So I want it to pull back to here, because it's about halfway between the peak over here and the trough over there. So 50% pullback. Yeah, let's see. If it does that, I'll be very interested. This, I'm not interested. Nothing to see there. And this, it sort of looks maybe interesting, I don't know. That's the problem. It's above the 200, it's above the 50. But when I draw this trend line, which connects these three peaks, these three highs, it hasn't gone through them yet. If it breaks through this trend line, yeah. It's above the 200 on the weekly chart. Although, yeah, you could argue that it's still in this area. And when it pulls back or fails, it pulls back pretty hard. MLCO, yeah, I will keep an eye on you. MLCO. And I see nothing of interest there. Except you can see on the weekly, it's sort of coming into range to both this trend line and the 200. But it's also close to the 200 on the daily. So, yeah. Although there was a couple of dollars here, each of these lines represents a dollar. So there's $2, actually $3 from where the price point is now to where the 200 is. Nah, it could bounce on this. Yeah, I don't know. Let me put it on the list at support. NCLH. It's not at support. When I say I'm putting it on the list of at support, it's not at support. But I'm going to treat it as though it was. I'm expecting a bounce or a reversal here. I want it to go up and break this trend line and the 200. If it does that, yeah, we'll speak. Here, nah, too close to these two moving averages. Nah, come back when you've broken through them. Not sure about this one. See, on the weekly, there's a trend line that it hasn't really broken. Also, the 200, which you could argue it hasn't really broken. It's still in this area. But it fell off pretty hard. That's not a sign of strength. And I want to see signs of strength, so no. And this... Nah, there's not enough data. I want to see more. And... very close to this 200 on the 60 minute. Nope. That's going down. I don't see any signs of a reversal there. Okay. New stock, relatively new stocks. What, 2 years, 3 years? Let's have a closer look here. Broke above the previous high. back here. Now it's back there again, but it's struggling to break it. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's about a week, 2 weeks of not being able to break this high. That doesn't tell me that this stock is super strong. Very shallow retracement. Nah. No, 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 no. No, thank you. And this, now, one of these, blink and you miss it. There's no way you could have known that this was going to break out. If you happen to be in it, you were very lucky, but trading is not gambling. Nah. Next, I don't like these kinds of stocks. And this. I want to see it break above this horizontal line. It's above, maybe only just, but it is above the 200. I want to see it break this and give me a nice pattern. This double bottom is nice. Yeah, the double bottom is nice, but I want to see it break this before I'm even going to think about putting any of my money into the game. But it can go on the list. OI. And yeah, nothing to see here. I don't see that stock doing anything. Okay, what have we here? This is interesting. So in this period, it did not break below that line, nor above that one. So it's banding, and there's what, 520. Oh, there's like $2, $3. It's above the 200 moving average, including on the weekly and the 60. Only problem is that it's now bumping its head on this trend line. I would expect it to fall back, hopefully just to this trend line, and bounce up again. And if it does, I will be waiting. Okay, so next. This is banding pretty nicely, actually. I could move this down here. This is equally valid as a point of support. Don't need that. And let me change the color here. I originally made these like a reddish color, but it was too easy to not get confused, but I'd rather have all my lines a completely different color than like something similar. I'm actually quite interested in this. Can dip below. It can go down to here. So in a perfect world, this will drop straight down to here and then bounce. And ooh, if that happens, that will be so juicy. Because this is like the $10 mark down here, and it can go as high as 21. That's a lot of space. If I got in somewhere around here, I'd have a lot of space for it to go. Yeah, this is definitely going on my list. OPRA. Gonna keep an eye on you. This. Yeah, see how this first green bar went straight into the 200. And now it's doing nothing really. That moving average, the 200 moving average, gotta keep an eye on it. Interesting. I think I'm going to put this on a list as well. This is OS. OWL. OWL. Could it bounce in this area? Yeah, it could. I'm not optimistic though. The way that it moved from this 200 down to the horizontal line, it took 3 days and it was there. And then it bounced straight off. Here, it's like messing around for more than a month in this area. So yeah, there's no strong moves there. I'm not really excited about it at all. So next. Also interesting. Sometimes, yeah, it bounced, it jumped, it gapped up from here right to the 200. But that's not a winning recipe because it fell straight past everything down into this area of support down here. And if you look on the 60, something else I don't really like. So from the 24th of October until now, the only time it broke this trend line is when it fell badly. Gapped up and fell badly back, which is not evidence of a strong stock. Strong stocks don't fall so hard. Yeah, not interested in this one. No. And I am going to remove that. Next, PGNY. This is also, you could say, is banding. Come on. Let's look at how many times it comes into this area and pulls back. Over there it did. Over here it did. There it did. Here it did. There it did. Even here. All this area. And then it gracefully slid off and then bounced back up. Yeah. There's a term in trading. It says the ceiling becomes the floor. Over here, this line was the ceiling, bumping its head on the ceiling here and there. And even here, there was a little bit of struggle before it managed to climb higher. And now, it came down to the floor and then jumped back up. Interesting. That's going to go on my banding list. So, PGNY. Because the next time it's in this area or this area, I'm definitely going to pay attention. Although, if you look on the weekly, let's make that a bit bigger. Since late 21, hasn't broken this trend line. Is it doing so now? Possibly. We'll have to wait and see. One little peekaboo, not particularly convincing in my book. The monthly too. Come on. There. Very much want this to break this trend line. Yeah, so that's where it is now. There's the last little peekaboo up here. So this trend line would look something like that. Right, it's on the list. We'll keep an eye, but not holding my breath. This, nah. Nothing happening there. Nothing happening there. I try not to spend too much time on any one stock. If a pattern or an opportunity doesn't jump out at you immediately, it's probably not there. Thousands of other stocks, nothing special about this one. And nah, it's not giving me any clear direction. And delete that. No. RZLV. No. What I can do is adjust this. Is it gonna bounce off of this 200? I'm not sure, but I think I'll put it on the support list. So RZLV, not long to go. Yeah, I'm not seeing much here. No. This, last time it was in this area, it bounced. Maybe. What I'd like to see is it break this trend line, pull back, and then go up. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. So this is SFNC. No, that's, in my opinion, that's not tradable. What can you do with that? No. I like to try to draw trend lines wherever I can. Just to highlight something that I like, or in this case that I don't really like about the stock. So next, no, this has fallen below where it was over here. No, there's nothing happening there. I don't see any trades there. This one too, it's just dropping. And that one. This one's sort of banding. Oh, that's very narrow. Very narrow indeed. And when it does bounce, it doesn't go up as much as it goes sideways. Nah, there's nothing for me there. I don't need to waste my time with it. Really struggles to get above here. Let me change that. There we go. And I'm going to draw one of these here. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate this on the other chart. And go there, and then color that one. I can go on the banding thing. Upwork inclusive. And, well, let's do that again. Oh no, nothing to see there. Nah. Ooh. Okay. Okay, this could be interesting. Hmm. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I am impressed. Hmm. Not sure that it's enough to take to take the trade, but yeah, I am interested. 14.89, so 15, and we're at almost 17. No, 15. Sorry. No, yeah, 14.89, almost 15. That's 16.18. Yeah, 17.27 is the current price. Let's have a look on the higher time frame. There's the 200. This just started. And look where we are. On the plus side, we've been steadily going down. Looks like we're bouncing. Yeah, this is going on my watch list. WRBY. Yeah, keep an eye on you. I like that tail. That's a sign of strength. I like that that the tail is in the same area as where it bounced last time. I'd like that. Let me change to this. This is in. Also, the tail is in the same area as this trend line. Yeah, this is definitely on my watch list. I'll keep a close eye on that. And this less so. No, I don't see anything happening there. And yeah, there's no reason for me to look at this one either. Interesting. This one is also banding in that area. So let's put that XP is in there. If this comes down here again, I'm going to be very interested. Yep. And the last one on this list. Oh, holy, what is it? No, that's definitely not for me. Alright, so I have gone through all the stocks that were trending downwards and evaluated them. I've added some to my list of stocks that are so-called at support. There's a duplicate there that I don't need. I have the list of stocks that are what I call banding. And tomorrow I will go through all of these and see what I come up with. Alright, and that's it. That's it for now. Let's do it all again tomorrow.